Yeah. 1, 2, 3, pasa el guaro. Y sin estrés, que caro. Te gustan los chicos malos. Y se te ve que ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Esa Julieta no necesita su Romeo. A esas caderas todo le creo. Ya está, esta manera de perreo. Bájale al fuego porque esto se puso feo. Aquí un paisita con la de Ponce. Ella la mala y apelando el bronce. Yo flow Maluma, tu flow Beyoncé. Yo pega esto pa' que sientas el roce. Con su flow, gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow, gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Yo le doy un flow a mi bebé la pupi. Le doy un guarito pa' que deje el tutti frutti. Pa' que no se estrese y solo me va a hacer booty. Izquierda, derecha con su movimiento sutil. Nos noquea como lo haya en el ring. Nunca pasa moda como la era de los memes. De toda la peli ella es la mejor sin. La bebé esta cara y eso que no sea Supreme. Con su flow, gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow, gemelita de J-Lo, de J-Lo, de J-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Baby, presentando pa'
Evening, chaps.
Piers.
Hello.
What do you think of Harry's accusations today?
I didn't see it, I'm sorry.
He said your behaviour was vile and unjustified. What do you think?
I didn't see it. But I wish him luck with his privacy campaign. Look forward to reading it in his next book.
Is there anything that makes your day even more better than seeing Piers Morgan having a panic attack? Because I know it makes me feel good. Welcome to the Thursday podcast, everyone. Hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button if you haven't already, please. Thank you for joining me. Got some good news, some interesting news, some WTF news. Always something interesting on these royal streets. Thank you as always to the mods. By the way, I guess it might be a good time to do a new mod call. So if there's anyone who wants to be added as a moderator, please put any animal emoji in the chat box, and if I see that you're around often and that you're a regular squaddy here, I will add you as moderator. And thank you as always to the mods for doing an amazing job. Right. Just scroll through. Hi everyone. See all the usuals. Yes, please do continue to send your blessings to Cookies and Cream. Okay, Tamika, I can see you there. I'll add you as a moderator. Thank you. And also Tony C, I'll add you as well. Thank you so much for putting yourselves forward. Much appreciated. All right, let's get to it, shall we? Start with the good news. And there is some very good news, actually. Okay, before I get into it, I just want to say thank you to Baron. I hadn't realized, because sometimes I don't always have the time to check on everyone's channel straight away, but Baron actually uploaded and he actually spoke out the entire opening statement that Harry gave. I mean, it's almost like a 2-hour video. So thank you so much to Baron for going through all of that trouble. Like, even I was struggling to read through it, and I just read bits and pieces, but like just tried to get to the most important parts. But if you cannot be bothered to read the whole thing, Baron basically created the audiobook for you. So go and check that out over at the Royal Sussex channel. And thank you so much to Baron. Also, Harry and Meghan showing their generosity as always. Archwell Foundation has donated £10,000 to this author for his book. So let me just get the article up so I can read it. So they donated £10,000 to get a diversity book into every UK state secondary school. The novel, named A Colourful View from the Top, focuses on entrepreneurs and thought leaders from ethnic minority backgrounds aiming to change the narrative in their communities. The book's author, Jonathan Middenhall, launched a campaign back in March with a personal donation of £8,200, 10% of its £82,000 fundraising target. We want this book to reach as many people as it needs to. We're not in this to make money. The royalties as curator are 10% of the price. And all profits will be ploughed back into this initiative as we continue to scale, the author said. This isn't about sales, it's about impact. The young people that need this most won't be able to afford to buy a copy of the book. So there's 42,000 has been raised so far, including 10,000 from the Archwell Foundation. And the mission, okay, so it goes on a little bit. Okay, so they donated to the fundraiser, but there's absolutely nothing in that about getting the book in every UK state secondary school. Mind you, that headline is from LBC, so definitely trying to trigger and spin there. I think they just donated because it's a great book, and I'm sure that it will be sent to secondary schools. But it's very interesting the language they use in these headlines, some of these tabloids. It's that very kind of like triggering language. You know, the way in which they refer to Harry as like, and Meghan as like the king and queen of woke. Nothing wrong with being woke, but they always put a negative spin on it, right? But that is very, very generous of the Archwell Foundation and Harry and Meghan as usual. Also, someone else on the other side of the royal coin, finally trying to be generous. So Catherine and William have offered to replace all the produce stolen from a food bank in Swansea, which was robbed over the weekend. Where do I even start with this? So, first of all, I guess they've finally been shamed into donating something, because they always show up empty-handed with nothing but a smile here and there.
I'm sorry we can only come and give words and comfort, but we are thinking about you the whole time, and we really care about what's going on. So
sometimes it's that's more than financial.
Yeah. Well, if we can give you the odd smile here and there, that's important. So, you know.
So they're going to replace all the stolen food from a food bank right after they spent £250 million on a coronation, on a clowning, on a coronation. That's basically throwing peanuts at the peasants. Mind you, that food was probably robbed by a person who was desperate. And where, might I ask, is the money to replace all that stolen food? Where is that going to come from? You can bet it's going to come from the taxpayers' coffers. What do I even say? I mean, we've got more food banks in the UK than McDonald's outlets. With them, staying with Kate, actually in the Middletons. So the bankrupt Middletons now owe creditors 2.6 million after the sale of party pieces. So this is from Kaiser's Celeb Bitchy article. So I'm going to read that because it was a pretty good breakdown of this. Okay, so we'll probably never learn the extent of the shenanigans when it comes to party pieces. The family-run business of Carol and Michael Middleton for years. We heard about how wealthy and successful Carol and Mike were, how this catalogue company selling mid-range party supplies was a British heritage brand worth £40 million. We heard repeatedly that Carol and Mike could afford all of these lavish holidays and a London apartment, and they could fund Kate's decade of waiting. I don't think any of that was true. What I think is that the Middletons were in a financial crisis for years, and they bankrupted a mildly successful party supply business through mismanagement and scams. Well, now we know that the courts had to step in to sell party pieces for £180,000, and that the Middletons owe creditors a lot of money which those creditors will probably never get. They also took £220,000 in pandemic loans, which they still haven't paid back. Well, now we're learning more about the extent of the Middletons' debt. I'm not actually sure that they have to pay back those pandemic loans, by the way, because those were put forward by the government to help businesses, but nonetheless, the amount that they took and the lack of clarity as to what was done with it is still very significant. So the article goes on to say, a party company run by the parents of the Duchess of Cambridge has gone into administration at almost 2.6 million in the red. Party pieces run by Michael and Carol owes the taxman £600,000. Details published revealed. The company also owes over £200,000 to RBS Bank for a coronavirus business interruption loan. Also another £400,000 to other creditors and £1.4 million in unsecured loans. A statement published by administrators revealed. Oh my lord. What is going on with these people? The fact that they would have to take out those loans tells me that, okay, they're probably not getting cash injections from the royals or from Pippa's so-called billionaire husband. It adds that many owed cash will be out of pocket as a result of the business failure, saying, based on current estimates, it is uncertain whether there will be funds available to enable a distribution to preferential creditors. It is unlikely there will be funds available to enable a distribution to unsecured creditors. The report details how the pandemic began to cause the company problems, saying that revenue contracted from 4.5 million to 3.2 million between 2021 and 2022, with the company making a loss of over £900,000. It said management attributed this to the C-19 pandemic, resulting in reduced social gatherings and a reduction in spend due to the cost of living crisis. This can cause constraints on the company's cash flows. In early 2023, the CEO resigned, and the Middletons and other members of the board tried to shore up the company to find a buyer, but the report said the company experienced increasing creditor pressure, including threats to present winding up petitions and other legal proceedings. In the face of the financial challenges, the company approached 175 potential buyers. Y'all, they had to approach 175 people and eventually settled on a deal of over £180,000, which was for stock worth £120,000 and £60,000 for intellectual property, computers, contracts, and other equipment. All 12 employees will transfer to the new company, the administrator report said. Whew. So Kaiser goes on to say, someone who understands the British bankruptcy system can probably explain this better than me, but it sounds like the Middletons are really, really bankrupt and they're going to screw over their creditors to the tune of 2.6 million. I always assumed that the only reason why Teddy Tastic Bear Company Limited agreed to purchase the insolvent party pieces was because the court arranged it so the buyer would not have to take on any of party pieces' debt. It looks like that's the case. It also appears that the buyer not only purchased party pieces, but the actual land and buildings holding party pieces operations in Berkshire. That was probably the most valuable part of the purchase. Anyway, it's just fascinating that Carol and Mike are completely broke ass and neither of their daughters, rich husbands, stepped in to help out. Curious. Very curious indeed, nah? What's going on there? My. Whatever could be happening. I feel like something big is going to come out about this. Right, let's go to your comments before we get on to the next thing. Hi everyone, if you're just joining us, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. 1,300 of you in the chat, my goodness. We're averaging over 1,000 people now, which is just insane. Anyone interested in listening? Harry's attorneys, are you listening? Hey David. I would die if they were actually listening. I would actually die. Yeah, peanuts for peasants, indeed. That's my new line now. Peanuts for peasants. Yeah, 2.6 million. Isn't that insane? How are they bankrupt? Their daughter is married to the future king. Well, if he's not giving them any money, they're going to be bankrupt. Mind you, where would that money be coming from? It would either be coming from the taxpayers' coffers or from Charles's duchy. But given that Charles keeps running around the globe, taking cash bags of money, one wonders how much money is the duchy even making? Indeed, Nikki, broke grifters. Yes, D. Patel, we are so very proud of our Prince Harry. He's a true warrior for justice, being more of a king than his king dad. Really? At least Thomas Markle gets cash up front. Yeah, from TNZ, GB News, and the Daily Fail. Anne Lewis, she said, was the palace financing the Middletons? They got furloughed through COVID. No wonder poor Harry got 5% allowance from civil lists and Meghan working for nothing. The Sussexes paid for their house. Well, it was reported that William paid for their house, right? And there's a theory, allegedly for the lawyers listening, that Uncle Gary was growing daisies and pushing daisies to keep their lifestyle afloat. Okay, let's go on to the next thing. One moment, folks. Computer is acting up. Okay, this lady right here. Behold a shining example of the casual bigotry that they pretend doesn't exist. I'm just going to play this clip and then we're going to discuss afterwards. Oh, can't play it if I haven't uploaded it. Just give me a sec, folks. Oh dear. One moment, my lovelies. Let me just get this. Okay. Here we go. I did not upload it properly. But this lady was basically on Jeremy Vine talking about Harry and Meghan. And I'll just play it so you can listen to it because it speaks for itself once it finishes uploading.
I thought the wedding was great.
What went wrong after that?
Well, what went wrong was when they sat down, and up to this point, I was all going. I said, "This is going to be a breath of fresh air." And the fabulous four, sat together, and it was one comment she made about what she was going to do to change the monarchy. I went, "Oh God, have we got trouble coming?" My secretary and I, we put a little fiver each in an envelope, and I said, "This is going to go this way, and you watch, she's going to work him," and everything. I won the bet.
Andy. Harry was born directly into a box, and the British public expect him to stay in that box until he's dead. And maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe that isn't his destiny.
That's absolutely
and
fine.
Maybe he's married a powerful, glamorous, independent, intelligent woman. I mean, is that a crime in 2020?
No, because she's got her career plan. She's starting her TIG thing up again, and she's working her way towards being the first female African American president. That's
but that might happen, yeah.
No, that's what she's working for, and she's got what she needed. She's got the fame. She set her target. I have every admiration for her. She focused. She went and sat in front of Trafalgar Square at a very young age. She's focused.
Better qualified to be first husband than Prince Harry. Now that would be a turn up.
Okay, Linda.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to give a shout out to the man there who tried to insert some sense into this ridiculous conversation, calling Meghan an Afro whatever, and then accusing her of trying to change the monarchy. And she's referring to the meeting where we had the unveiling of the Fab Four. The only fab individuals at that event were Harry and Meghan. And yes, Meghan absolutely stood out, but she said nothing about trying to change the monarchy. She spoke clearly and she spoke very well. Something that the likes of this lady on this screen have never been used to. All they're used to is mumbling. All they're used to is mediocrity. And so when you're used to seeing your royals be so mediocre, excellence then looks like a threat. Just like, what do you even say to that? It pretty much spoke for itself, right? I said, oh my Lord. I mean, what is it about Meghan that is so threatening to you people? Spit it out. Yeah, President Princess Meghan. Sounds great to me. Yeah, Jean, she couldn't say it correctly without choking. Yeah, Afro whatever. Somebody left a comment on my Instagram the other day. It was a British woman. And it was something to do with Meghan's dress, the gold dress that she wore at the New York event. And she said, oh, Catherine wouldn't copy that dress that Meghan wore because Catherine doesn't wear the Latinas. That's literally how she phrased it. Catherine doesn't wear the Latinas, referring to the fact that the designer was Latino. She was Colombian. But it's that casual way they say it, and they don't even realize how bigoted they sound when they say things like that. Oy. Yes, Angela, Afro whatever. They tell on themselves every single darn time. Every single time. Okay, next thing. We have a new name, new point of focus in this trial. So, give us a sec, folks. So the lady that you see on the screen there, that is a Miss. Let me just get the article out. That is a Miss Jane Kerr. Jane Kerr was summoned to the court by the judge. And something tells me this is probably one of the reasons why Piers Moron is absolutely ishing himself. Because what are the chances now that he will get called? Or more of these pirates with press cards will get called to the stand? So, Miss Jane Kerr was called by the judge to the court. And she said that Piers Morgan would inject information into Prince Harry's stories. A former Daily Mirror editor said her former boss, Piers Morgan, would inject information into her stories without explaining where it was from. Jane Kerr was given evidence in Prince Harry's hacking case against Mirror Group newspapers. He claims the papers unlawfully obtained private information about him, which MGN obviously denies. Mr. Morgan has consistently said no illegal information gathering happened on his watch. Ms. Kerr, who worked for the Daily Mirror's royal team from 1996 to 2007, told the High Court that Mr. Morgan would add snippets of information into stories that she had authored. She said he might have been speaking to someone at the palace, but she would not know who. Y'all, these people are literally throwing the palace under the bus to save their necks. Ms. Kerr added that Mr. Morgan, who was the editor of the paper from 1995 to 2004, took a really genuine interest in the coverage. In her written witness statement, Ms. Kerr said he engaged with the palace press offices and would occasionally direct or inject information into a story. Let me read that again. Mr. Morgan engaged with the press palace offices and would occasionally direct or inject information into a story. This is why Piers Morgan believes that they will protect him. It's been going on for a long time. Harry alleges about 140 articles published by MGN, the publisher of the Mirror and Sunday Mirror, and People contain information gathered using unlawful information gathering. So Miss Kerr was asked about a story reporting that young Prince Harry had taken D at parties, which included reports that Prince Charles had been hugely relieved to have been told his son had only been using marijuana. Prince Harry's barrister, David Sherborne, put it to her that this was private information which could have been obtained from listening to voice messages asking, "Where did you get the quotes from, Miss Kerr?" She replies, "I can't say for sure where I got them from. I can't remember. It's possible Piers gave them to me. It's possible the palace. I don't remember." So, if Piers gave that information to her, where did Piers get it from? If the palace gave that information to her, why was the palace passing information to a journalist about their own family members? Mr. Sherborne then responded, "You're saying that the palace would have given you what Prince Charles said in highly sensitive meetings with his son?" Ms. Kerr repeatedly said that she could not remember the sources of stories published decades ago. There was another journalist who took to Twitter to say that they remembered every single source and that they kept records of every single source. And I can imagine that's what a good journalist would do. Whereas a phone hacker, like Miss Kerr here, would probably destroy evidence. So the questioning then focused on additional details added by Ms. Kerr while following up on stories already in other papers. In March 2002, she wrote about Prince Harry catching glandular fever, reporting that Harry's friends and William have teased him about the illness because it spread through saliva, usually by kissing. The prince told the court during his evidence that these suggestions were upsetting and embarrassing at the time as he was in school. Ms. Kerr told the court she could have got the information from the palace, despite the media having been told during this period that the princes were off limits to reporters in the wake of the death of Diana. "You're suggesting some palace spokesperson would have casually tossed it to you as a little morsel to add color to your story?" Mr. Sherborne asked. When she said she did not know where it had come from and could easily have been a throwaway line, Mr. Sherborne said, "That's total speculation, isn't it?" Ms. Kerr said she could not remember the details, but would not have got it through any illegal means. Mr. Sherborne asked, Or was this something Mr. Morgan injected into the article? Possibly, I just don't know, Ms. Kerr replied. Speaking to the BBC ahead of the trial, Mr. Morgan said, I've never hacked a phone. I've never told anybody to hack a phone. Ms. Kerr's evidence follows a day and a half of Prince Harry's stint on the stand. And let me just play, where is it now? Oh yes, this report.
After the Duke of Sussex finished giving evidence, the Mirror's former royal correspondent Jane Kerr was sworn in. Records suggest she commissioned private investigators at least 900 times to find out people's personal information. Prince Harry's lawyer, David Sherborne, asked her, "You didn't want to come to court, did you?" She answered, "No."
There are three ways that a witness can turn up to a courtroom. One, voluntarily. Two, by subpoena, which is the other side getting a court order to turn you up. But what's happened here is neither of those first two, that the judge himself has ordered her to turn up. So the reason why she's giving evidence is because the judge, of his own volition, has ordered her to come.
How unusual is that?
Well, I can't honestly remember that ever happening before. It's quite extraordinary.
900 people. 900. I'm speechless. Like it just gets crazier and crazier by the day. One of the outlets that is going full speed ahead with the propaganda is GB News. GB News, that is basically the equivalent of Fox now in the UK, and I think that was always the aim, to make it the equivalent of Fox. You had Samantha Markle up here, Lady C up here, Paul Burrell, the Ring Bandit, saying that he demands an apology. The person who should get an apology is Prince Harry. Paul Burrell has made a whole career and living since Diana's death off of being Diana's ex-butler. Harry does not owe this grifter an apology at all. And I cannot believe that anybody is still taking the likes of Dan Whatnot, that weird gremlin lady. I'm not going to refer to her as Lady C, just that weird gremlin thing, and Samantha Markle seriously. Who is still taking these people seriously? And with that, I am done. I'm really hoping that the court judge gives us the gift that we are all waiting for and drags Piers Morgan into court. Drag him into court by the ears and balls. And that is probably why Piers Morgan is panicking, because he knows that that could be a possibility. Would love to see it. Would make my year. And to Miss Jane Kerr here, was it worth it? Was it worth it? What's incredible is this is the first time I'm hearing about this. Why wasn't this lady, why didn't she have the hammer come down on her before? Wait, all right. Let's get through the last of your comments and then we'll wrap things up. Thank you as always, everyone. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on the way out and subscribe on the way out if you haven't already. Almost 1,800 of you in the chat. Come on, get them thumbs up. Get them thumbs up, please. Compton, you said the receipts are out about how much money was given to investigators. Yeah. All the receipts are about to come out. Kim, wow, I didn't know that a judge could order someone to testify. Wish we could do that in America. I didn't know that either. Can you not do that in America? I'm sure there's probably some states, right? It probably depends on the state, right? Like if it was a really big case, I'm sure that they would have the right to bring someone. But I'm also learning about the UK legal system through this. But the fact that this woman, I mean, 900 times, there's got to have been other people involved. It could not have just been her. It was a whole network of criminality. Okay, Mina, I'll give you the last word of the day. As I said before, God don't like ugly, and everyone is getting their karma one by one. Indeed. And with that, I will leave it. Have a lovely day, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.
Lunes, ya. 1, 2, 3, pasa el guaro. Y sin estrés, que caro. Te gustan los chicos malos. Y se te ve que ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan. Facilito las anota. Y ella se le ve la nota. Que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Esa Julieta no necesita su Romeo. A esas caderas todo le creo. Ya está, esta manera de perreo. Bájale al fuego porque esto se puso feo. Aquí un paisita con la de Ponce. Ella la mala y apelando el bronce. Yo flow Maluma, tu flow Beyoncé. Pega esto pa' que sientas el roce. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Ella es como Jordan, facilito las anota. Ella se le ve la nota, que se mueve como loca. Yeah. Yo le doy un flow a mi bebé la pupi. Le doy un guarito pa' que deje el tutti frutti. Pa' que no se estrese y solo me va a hacer booty. Izquierda, derecha con su movimiento sutil. Lo noquea como lo haya en el ring. Nunca pasa moda como la era de los memes. De toda la peli ella es la mejor sin. La vez de esta cara y eso que no usa Supreme. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Con su flow gemelita de G-Lo, de G-Lo, de G-Lo. Nunca le dice que no, a que no, a que no. A perrele reggaetón, ton, reggaetón, ton. Ella es como